It's been a couple of weeks since I've made my last video, and that's because I've been on holiday and various other things got in the way of doing any YouTube videos. However, I did on my last video promise you that I'd make a video about the legacy of books and the inheritance of books. You remember the last one I did on those two ghost books that I had, and this one is entirely a different theme. This one revolves around these 4 volumes, and these volumes were given to me when I was only a very young boy by my uncle, Mr. Bloom, who was a headmaster of a school in London. I'm still doing research on that to find out where he taught, but it says E.G. Bloom, Ernest Bloom, and he acquired them in 1911. The books themselves were published much earlier than that, but I can't actually find a publication date on them. But he acquired them in 1911, which makes them quite old, and he gave them to me, and he says to David, with best wishes from Uncle Ernie, and he gave me those books in 1951. So I was not very old at that time, was I, to give me these beautiful books. And the books themselves are entitled Familiar Wild Flowers. These are the 4 books of the 9-volume series that I have. F Edward Hulme was born in March 1841 and died in 1909. All these books were published after his death, so he never actually saw them in publication. Edward Hulme started producing Familiar Wild Flowers while he was the drawing master at Marlborough College in 1870. He had lots of other interests as well, and he was also the professor of freehand and geometrical drawing at King's College London from 1886. He had other interests, including, strangely enough, cryptography, and wrote a book, a volume on cryptography, which has a strange link to my other interests, but we won't go into that now. It's amazing to think about the amount of work that went into all these illustrations and all the research for the botanical descriptions over the 9 volumes. So while we think about that, let's just have a look at some examples of his work. So as an example, we start with the scarlet poppy. First of all, a beautiful illustration of the poppy, and then if we turn over, there's a very detailed description of the scarlet poppy, and that goes on for a couple of pages. Let me just give you an example. First of all, it says the scarlet poppy, and then it describes it, and then it gives its Latin name, and then descriptions are very personal. Every one of our readers has doubtless had his attention attracted by this plant, the brilliancy of its colouring and the profusion with which it grows being features that enforce notice even from the most superficial observers. And so it goes on and talks about the plant in 2 pages of description. Then we come to another plant. This one is the Arum, or Cuckoo plant. Again, a beautiful illustration, and then from there it follows on with another description, and again a beautifully illustrated capitalization, and lots of description about it. And so the books go on, one after another, and there are so many plants in here and so many beautiful illustrations, and all this through 4 volumes. So those are the books that I've now got. I look after them, I cherish them. I'm just wondering how many of these wild flowers still exist, and if they probably do, but where they exist and how to find them. I'm going to perhaps embark on a little bit of a field exercise and look up some country field meadows where I can actually find some of these flowers, but that won't be for this video. However, that's a taster of some of the books. Let me just flick through a few more of these beautiful illustrations before we finish. Well, thank you for watching this video about the second in the series of my book legacy and book inheritance. It's amazing to think that all these, well, my 4 volumes at least, and the other 8 or 9 volumes, in fact, excuse me, were not published until after Hume's death. He must have spent many hours doing these illustrations, and the draftsmanship and the colours are absolutely amazing. As I said at the beginning, I'm not a botanist or a horticulturalist, but I'm very proud to own these books, and they will remain safe, and I will certainly pass them on to my grandchildren. And I hope they will value them as well. So thank you for watching Familiar Wildflowers. If you want more information about these books, there is plenty on Wikipedia. There's plenty to be had online from other sources as well. And there are many sellers who still have these books available. Some of them reasonably priced. Some of them, sets of them, can sell for as much as £100 to £200. But I mean, what is the value of a book? You can't put a monetary value on it, really. It's something I value. It's part of my literacy legacy. And thank you, Uncle, for letting me have them all those years ago. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Give it a like if you do. If you have, rather. And I'll talk to you again very soon about the last book in my literary heritage, and that is the Humours of History, again given to me by Uncle Ern. Thank you very much indeed, and I'll talk to you again soon.